Hi Student Actuaries, how are you all? With the actuarial exams being just 2 months away, I wanted to check in on how your studies are going on and if you are on track with your studies. And in case you are losing track of your studies and looking for some motivation or guidance, then this video is definitely for you. I am Anchal, your actuarial mentor and a qualified actuary, and I know exactly how it is to be a student actuary because I have been there too. The most challenging part of being a student actuary is how we have to take out time to study after being totally exhausted from our full-time actuarial job. And while all other corporate professionals are glad to be able to make cool plans for the weekends, actuarial students, on the other hand, feel glad to be able to study at a stretch and cover the syllabus over the weekends. I know it becomes quite boring when you have to study for all day long, but if you really want to pass your exams and achieve the benefit of being a qualified actuary, then it is crucial to maintain a strict study routine, especially during these two last months before the exams. These 2 months are crucial for you. And never mind if you haven't been able to study well till now, these 2 months, if fully utilized, can really make a difference. When I look back at the study routine I used to follow, especially during the last 2 months before the actuarial exams, I can tell you that most of my weekends were boring. They used to start with books and end also with books. I am a work hard and party harder type of person. So when the exams were approaching, I used to be a bookworm. But during other times, I used to just chill and balance it off. During exams, I used to turn down and postpone almost everything that I had to do other than studies. My biggest priority in the last 2 months were my exams and nothing else. Do you know what makes you stay focused on your priorities? It is the motivation to achieve your goal. My goal had always been to become a qualified actuary and to achieve that goal ASAP. You know how studying to become an actuary takes away a huge part of your life. And honestly, you don't want to carry this burden of having to study for a huge part of your life. So it is good to focus on a single goal of qualifying as soon as possible so that afterwards you can sit at ease, pursue your hobbies, learn new skills, take more challenging opportunities as a qualified actuary, and the most important, just relax. Which, by the way, I'm currently doing gradually, and trust me, it's a great feeling to be able to enjoy post-qualification. Going out for a vacation pre-qualification used to feel like a burden that I have to go back and face the books and study again. But now I can completely chill and make plans without taking any tension of my exams. And it's a great feeling to enjoy life this way because it feels like I have well earned this state of life. And this is exactly what my vision used to be when I used to study. I used to think that once I get free from my studies, I can focus on other things in my life. And this is exactly what motivated me to keep studying dedicatedly. Now, please don't take this as a message that you cannot enjoy your life until you qualify. I am just asking you to stay focused on your exams only during the last few months of the exams. And of course, you deserve to take breaks whenever you want. Different people have different situations in life and hence different priorities. I am just sharing my perspective in order to motivate you. Anyway, that was about the goal and the vision to achieve that goal. Next, you need a well thought and well executed plan for the next 2 months. Remember how you and your friends make plans for Goa? Yes, that very plan which gets cancelled almost every time it is made. Your study plan has to be much stricter than that. So I used to have a study calendar that I used to follow like a very good sincere child. First, I used to mark the exam day in a big circle and then work backwards to set the targets for each day. Last 3 days before the exams used to be the days to revise everything like my notes, my study material, all the past papers and quick brush up of almost everything that I have studied till now. And a day before that used to be a mock exam day when I used to attempt a fresh past paper which I haven't studied before, and I used to compare my answers with the examiner's report and then evaluate myself just to see if I am able to meet the time target, if I am able to quickly refer to the notes as needed during the online exams, just to gauge if I'm well prepared. And before that, I used to block days for practicing lots of past papers, practicing lots of questions from the X series and assignments. And I also used to keep days for revising things in between, because otherwise, obviously, you tend to forget whatever you have studied. So whatever plans I used to make, I used to be very specific on what exactly I'm going to cover that day. And I used to keep sufficient breather days in between, because obviously you will get crazy if you don't take sufficient breaks in between. Breaks are also important for you to be able to cover up on the lost study days that sometimes occur because of unavoidable situations or moods. So that was roughly my plan, and you can also make a similar plan according to your study patterns. Just make the plan in such a way that you can stick to it. And now we will talk about the execution of the plan. Now the question is how to take out time when you have lots of other important things to do. Have you heard of the 888 rule? Clearly, whoever made this rule did not bother to consider the actuarial working students, because studying for the actuarial exams calls out for a separate 8. So unfortunately, you cannot increase the number of hours in a day. You will have to borrow out some time from these 8s and allocate it to your studies. The 8 hours of sleep cannot be touched at all, because this much amount of time is crucial. It's a must for a human body and mind to function properly. So unless you want to become crazy, you cannot borrow any time from your sleep hours. Though you should follow a strict sleep routine, just try to sleep and wake up every day at the same time, so that your body gets accustomed to fixed sleeping patterns, and this way you will get a better and sound sleep, and all your other routines will fall in line too. The 8 hours of work also cannot be borrowed, because you are obliged to work if you are being paid for it. However, there is a scope to manage it well, and in this way borrow a portion of it. Actuarial students have the advantage of getting study support from actuarial employers. So as long as you are able to manage your work and deliver your work on time, you are free to take time off from your studies. So what you should do is talk to your manager well in advance of your exams. Show them how important it is for you to clear that exam, and work with your manager to create a good study plan that also doesn't hamper your work deadlines. Usually actuarial work is either on a project basis or a quarterly or monthly deadline basis. So unless anything comes up urgently or suddenly, there is always an option to plan your work in advance. I used to reach office earlier than others and find a separate space for myself to study for a few hours. And work-wise also, I used to create a list of things that I have to do in that day. And in this way, I used to manage my work productively so that I can finish my work on time and then focus on the other important part of the day, which is my studies. On weekdays, most of my heavy studies used to happen in the nights, because I know that my mind is most active at the nights when everybody is asleep and there is no disturbance. What I'm trying to convey here is that the simplest technique to manage time effectively and to be able to make the most of the time that you allocate to anything is to have a clear plan on what you need to do, and then work through those plans with a focused mindset. This way you can manage everything perfectly. And this brings us to the last 8 of the day, which is dedicated to your personal advancements, your hobbies, your friends, your family. So it's basically that time that you have got for your own self. We will call this 8 a happy 8 and turn this into a not so happy but disciplined and an effective 8. And this 8 is the easiest target when it comes to borrowing and allocating time to studies. Apart from the highly important task that you cannot avoid, most of this time should be allocated to studies. So basically, put away all your distractions and focus. So that is why there is a quote कि कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है, and ये सारी चीजें sacrifice करके आपको actuary बनना है. I know it is difficult, but I also know that you can do it. This 2-month time is the best time for you to put maximum efforts, and this time is never going to come back. And with this message, let's end today's video. I hope I have given you enough motivation and tips to study. The last thing that I want to say is that never lose hope if you are unable to plan things, or if things are not going your way. There are days when you just get fed up of everything. Remember to take a pause at such low points and take enough rest so that you can come back again with a fresh mind and increased focus. For more such inspirational videos and information around the actuarial profession, do subscribe to my channel. Also like and share this video. All the best for your exams and happy studies. Signing off for now. We'll be back soon.